Hi, this is Mimi.
And this is Lee. In this episode of Beyond Dieting, we talk about the concept of a liquid diet reset and when that concept could be harmful to you and when it could be helpful to you.
Yeah, to be clear, we will not be telling you whether you should or should not do a liquid diet reset as a weight loss tool. Each person is different and can make her own choice. What we want to discuss is the mindset underneath the desire for a reset. To continue our discussion this month on the importance of mindset on your self-care journey and really a lot about your thoughts, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that your thoughts matter. Kind of the thoughts that are going through your head as you do something really matter. And as a disclaimer, there are potential drawbacks and risks associated with a liquid diet reset or a liquid diet in general. There is the potential for nutrient deficiencies in some people, muscle loss if you experience rapid weight loss or stop exercising, fatigue, dizziness, which can lead to motor skills accidents. And some of you might want to, or all of you might want to consult with your healthcare professional before starting a liquid reset because of this.
Yeah. And there really are other types of resets and detoxes and lots of reasons why you might choose to participate and not or participate in any of those. Those are things like a sugar detox or a caffeine detox, whole foods reset. Intermittent fasting can sometimes be considered like a cleanse or detox tool. And there are even those that don't relate to food, like a digital detox. I've tried that. I'm not very successful in a digital detox. A sleep reset, even like a work reset. If you're a workaholic, people will try to put parameters on that, and like just kind of detox from working all the time. We're going to be using a liquid detox for this discussion because it's something both of us have kind of done in the past. I think me more than Lee for like a longer term event. And we've talked about it a lot with each other and kind of questioned each other about it. So we thought this would be like to incorporate detoxes and mindset and thought work together would be really interesting conversation.
Yeah. So to try to put all these little dots together and connect the dots, our theme this month is your mindset and how your thoughts impact the results you get. And we've heard a number of women say stuff about a liquid diet reset or a liquid diet, enough that we thought, this is something people think they need to do occasionally. And are they coming at it from a place of, I need to restrict and be punitive and punish myself for going off track, which was our theme in the last episode. So if I've been a bad girl, do I need to punish myself by going on a liquid diet? And if that's the reason, the ultimate results may not actually be that great. Even if you think, oh, phew, I got through those 2 days of just liquids, you might think it was a success. But if one were to track behaviors and results over the next 2 to 4 weeks, what would we see in your behaviors? Would the pendulum then swing back to, I just punished myself and restricted, so now I need more? Emotionally, do you just want to comfort yourself by having more? That's going to be on a person by person basis. You'd really have to track it to see. So we were just curious about this, and we definitely thought, the mindset with which you enter some kind of reset or liquid, quote unquote, diet probably matters a lot. That's kind of where
and do you even pay attention to the results? Like Lee said, is it just like, phew, or do you even consider it punitive? I know when we first started talking about it, I was like, hey, I'm not being punitive. Maybe that's some thought work that we need to do. So it really is. I think we kind of talked about that a lot last time. Like sometimes if you don't question your thoughts, it's like, I don't know, like it doesn't bother me. Maybe is it punitive? I don't know. So it was
yes, who's driving the car?
Yeah.
Is the part of you like your ego, like there's a part of your brain that tends to be hard on you and punish you and think that you're bad? Is that the part of you that you really want at the wheel? And so you've got to do a little digging to see, because if you're here listening to this podcast, if you're in our community, you're here for a reason. Diet mentality, diet mindset has not been working for you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be somewhere called Beyond Dieting. So, you wouldn't be listening to this. So if everything you've been doing and thinking has been working for you, and maybe some of the stuff you're doing is working, but some of the stuff isn't. And we think a lot of it rests on mindset. What do you think you're doing? And are you tracking the result of that mindset decision?
Yeah, probably not. I mean, for me, I know I wasn't even thinking about why I was doing it. Like sometimes it's like, oh, this seems like a good idea. I'm just going to do it.
Mhm. Yeah,
Hard,
I
was
think
it
that's why
easy?
most people do things.
Yeah, it's like I've been convinced this is like a really good idea. So I'm like, I'll give it a try. And I think that's so much of it is like, I'll just give it a try.
Mhm. Yeah. And yeah, I think a lot of us do that. So we just wanted to give some examples just so if you haven't been able to listen to our other mindset related or thought work related episodes, we're going to give some examples of punitive and restrictive thoughts that generally aren't as helpful and don't usually get good results long term, and examples of healthier thoughts that probably get you better results. So examples of punitive thoughts and restrictive thoughts. One is, I shouldn't have any food for a few days. I've been so bad and so quote unquote off track. I just should not eat for a couple of days.
Yeah.
So,
That one can feel really true to me.
mhm.
One, I need to eat as little as possible. Again, like this idea that I've been spoiling myself or I've been bad. So I just need to eat as little as possible. And I'm not even going to chew while I'm doing it.
Yeah, it's just going to be liquid. It goes down. And yeah. I need to restrict my calories. I just need to restrict my calories.
Yeah. Which, anytime it says restrict, that's like, that can't be anything but sort of punitive, right?
Mhm.
I'm out of control and need to be strict with myself.
Yeah, I definitely hear people saying things like, I'm just out of control. Like, I need to do something serious. I need to do something really different because I'm just out of control. I need to break this cycle.
Mhm. And then I think the other one is like, I need to teach myself a lesson, which is kind of can sum up all of them, right? Like I've been bad. I'm like out of control. I've like overindulged. I've over rewarded, and I just need to teach myself a lesson.
I've been a bad girl and I deserve this. I deserve to be tortured for a few days and just drink, some form of liquid.
Yeah. So obviously, if you're coming into any type of restrictive diet or reset diet with those thoughts, one, that's not the best reason to do something. And it probably isn't going to give you whatever long-term results that you wanted from that.
Mm-hmm. And studies actually show that when you have these kind of restrictive, punitive, self-judgy thoughts, you tend to gain more weight. So the long term, like maybe you finish that short term, couple of days, but then you want to look a month to 2 months down the road, then what happens? So examples of healthier thoughts might look something like this. This is me actually. I have been missing fresh juice because I have a juicer at home that I can make, not like a citrus juicer, but like a vegetable juicer. And I might think I've been really missing fresh juice and I've been wanting to pull out my juicer again. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Like that would be something healthier because you like missing it. It just feels like a fun, like comfy thing to do.
Yeah.
What else?
Another one is what I've thought sometimes is like, I really enjoyed when I did this and how I felt after when I did this the last time. So it's like, I've done a 2-day juicing or bone broth experience, and I really kind of felt felt it in my body. So I'm going to do it again.
Mhm. Yeah, so I loved how I felt when I did that. Another one, and this is what I think about juice, this is usually my go-to, is I'm gonna get so much nutrient boost. Yeah, there's a huge nutrient factor from juicing, like just cramming a bunch of veggies and they get juiced down into a glass and you just get tons of nutrition in one glass.
Yeah, I want to say, and my next one is, or the next one on here is I enjoy drinking the bone broth and brothy soups.
Mhm.
And so I just want to clarify, like sometimes people think of a liquid diet and it's like that old, like bread and water from prison sort of mentality, that liquid diets are just drinking water or, I don't even know what other liquids that might be. Like, I'm just going to drink diet soda or whatever your typical beverages of choice. Like, I want the milk and water diet or something like that. But a lot of the liquid diets are, like Lee said, it's like juicings and bone broths and things that are really nutrient dense. And finally, like I can boost my protein levels if you're using protein shakes, especially
Or
like
bone broth. I
or
think
bone broth. They're so like so even like just substituting a meal sometimes with something that's a really high protein liquid.
Yeah, you may feel like you're doing a lot of exercise or lifting weights and you're just like sensing, you feel like your body needs something. It's like, I'm going to give my body what I think it's asking for. So these are healthier reasons and thoughts to go into something that might be a cleanse or a detox or a reset or however you define it. These thoughts would be healthier thoughts for that.
Oh, that's so interesting that you said cleanse. We haven't even talked about this in relationship to a cleanse. And I don't know the science behind cleansing, but I think your body cleanses itself naturally anyway, right? This idea that cleanse, like getting rid of toxins. I'll have to dive into that a little bit because I
It's
don't know.
more, yeah, it's more of a fad. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll have to gather some studies on that, like the actual medical journal studies, because sometimes you can land on a website when you Google and it's really just some dude's opinion,
Yeah.
and they're not
Somebody trying
really
to sell
based,
something. Yeah.
huh?
Somebody trying to sell something.
Some selling something, or they bought into the idea and it's just like they spout all these reasons why it's great that aren't really backed by anything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I
we
really don't
really,
know anything about cleanse, about like using a liquid diet as a cleanse.
I know people do it. I've never
Yeah.
used it that way. I've
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
used it
So
that
I've
way.
never looked in that. So that's interesting. We'll have to
I do know that if you drink fresh juice after a long time of not, it can have a quote unquote cleansing
get
effect.
like a diuretic effect or an actual,
Diuretic and diarrhea. You can get a little.
yeah.
So sometimes, you want to go gently, and that's why maybe saying I'm just only going to drink juice might not be awesome. You might
Yeah.
get a result that makes you not feel as great as you'd love to feel.
Yeah. So that's interesting. Just thinking about that from the punitive or restrictive thoughts, I think coming at it from a healthier
Mhm.
thought, like obviously I would like, oh yeah, I would only ever do this for healthier reasons, but I don't know. But coming at it from that place is really going to allow you to have a better outcome for whatever you're hoping this outcome
Mhm.
is.
Also, one thing that in our programs we really talk about a lot is, in addition to mindset and the thoughts you're thinking about why you need to do something. And again, studies show if it's more of a positive thinking experience, your overall experience is going to be better. But also choosing plans, whether, and here we're kind of talking about eating, how you consume nutrition, choosing something that overall supports your sense of pleasure and enjoyment in life. That we're not, my belief is we're not meant to suffer while eating. It's supposed to taste good. It's supposed to be kind of this enjoyable experience, is my thinking. And that we do better when overall eating, when we make it enjoyable as a plan, that we plan for food to be enjoyable. And that doesn't mean, enjoyable food does not need to mean that, a gallon of ice cream. but you can choose foods that feel enjoyable and yummy and delicious to you. So when you're choosing to do like a liquid reset, what kind of liquid reset would feel enjoyable to you? Not punishing yourself with it.
Yeah.
I think
And,
that matters.
and I think if the idea of a full liquid day or 2 days or 3 days or 4 days or 5 days or whatever you choose feels really hard and painful, then don't do it.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
We would
I
not
think
recommend it.
Yeah, I think yeah, like if you feel like a super determined to do some kind of reset, then choose a reset method that really feels enjoyable and is doable and
There's a
understand.
happy medium here. Like you don't have to go all liquid either. You could kind of do like 2 of my meals will be liquid and 1's solid. You can do a happy medium.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
guess
even
I
have
could,
to go all in.
yeah. So I could talk about a little bit about some of the reasons why I've gone on a liquid reset. And I just want to say it's not like I do this monthly. Like here we are at the end. Well, we're in August. I've done one this year, and I think I did one last year. But I definitely, have been a liquid reset kind of person. And I once did a 5-day. Last year I did a 5-day one. I'll never do that again. Like, because then I got to that, I typically have only ever done a 2-day reset. And by the time I got to day 4, then I was like, well, I've made it this far and I'm going to like muscle through to the end. And I didn't have any idea in my head of what benefit I was getting out of it or why I was doing it. But it was just like, I was angry at this 5-day reset and I was going to finish it by God.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a tough one.
Mhm.
But I can just run through if you want a couple of reasons why I've done
Yeah, let's hear it.
a liquid reset. One is really just to reset my eating habits. So if I had like earlier this year, I did 10 days in Morocco and I was like, I'm going to go to Morocco and I'm just going to enjoy the Moroccan food. And, it's really different from how I eat here. And it's going to be indulgent and I'm going to drink. I was with my kids and I'm just going to have a great time. I'm not going to worry about it. And when I come back, I'm just going to do a 2-day reset, get my gut, my body, my mind, everything just, that was great. And now let's just keep moving forward with life. So it kind of
But
is like a break pattern.
just to back up for a minute, it was a part of your food plan, if you will, your nutrition plan, that you wanted to go on vacation and just have the full experience and enjoy food without
Yeah.
any sense of restriction or being bad or going off plan, and that you planned way in advance. My method for doing that so that I can do that and not feel bad is I know when I come back, I'm going to do this 2-day thing that's pretty easy for me to do.
Yeah.
It was a plan from, it
It,
wasn't
it
like,
was a plan. And there's probably a lot of restriction and indulgence. Like, I'm going to reward myself, pre-reward myself, with enjoying my vacation because I've got this on the back end. But then there are some other reasons. Like another reason I've gone in the past on liquid diets is because I do have colitis and gut issues, which often flare up after vacation. So coming back from a vacation where I'm not like I'm going to the beach with my family or something like that, but something where the food is going to be really exotic and it's going to be a long time when I'm not in charge of any of my meals because most of them are prepaid for, like it also is kind of like a digestive reset for when I come back to. So it's kind of like a double whammy, but I would think if I was pushed into the mindset about it, did it feel a little bit punitive on the back end? I don't know, but I definitely felt like I was rewarding myself on the front end.
okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I was like pre-rewarding based on this, but for the digestive piece.
But were you thinking, sorry, were you
Yeah.
thinking, just going back to kind of the thought, were you thinking, did it creep in during your vacation? Oh, I'm just being so bad. I am being so bad here. I can't believe I'm eating what I'm eating. I can't believe I'm consuming what I'm consuming. Like, does that ever happen when you're?
I gave up on that mentality. Like I decided years ago that if I'm going on vacation, because for years I punished myself that way on vacation. Like I'm not going to eat anything. I'm not going to spend money. Everything was like, we can share a burger. We can share, You know, like we can share a smoothie, we can't afford it. So it's like that mindset, thankfully, I was able to shift several years ago. So
Good.
I
So,
don't,
yeah.
while I'm on vacation, because I've pre-thought it all out, Lee.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a plan. It's a plan.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a plan, but I also have used outside of vacation a liquid diet to just calm my gut down because
Mhm.
I do have colitis, and a lot of the foods that's good for you are rough, like any raw vegetables, anything that's like not overcooked. Sometimes really just heavily processed food is super easier on my gut than anything that my gut has to work to
Yeah.
do. So I will do a liquid and just kind of give my gut a break and let it calm down. So
Mhm.
I was like, oh, well, if I do that after my vacation, and another benefit is I don't have groceries in my home when I come back from a 10-day or 2-week vacation. So I don't have to worry that I'm going to like run out. I have a terrible habit to just run out and grab food at a restaurant or something like that. It's like
Mhm.
I don't sink into get into a habit of dining out when I get back because I don't have groceries.
Mhm.
And that seemed like a lot. All of that kind of tied into, is it justification? I don't know.
Well, let's, I think you have a few more things you use it for. So let's go through.
Yeah, I absolutely have used it to jumpstart a weight loss program
Mhm.
before in the past. And or if like I'm at a plateau. So I'm like, I just have been at this weight now for 6 weeks, 8 weeks. And I feel like my body is just settled in. And so it's like in my mind, I don't know if this is science, but if I jolt my body and
Mhm.
like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on? I don't know. It'll say like, I better get out of this weight loss plateau that we're in. So I don't
And
know.
does it work? Like, does it work long term? Like if you drop, let's say 3 to 5 pounds from a liquid diet, does it stay off for like ever?
It creeps back up, but typically not as high as it was.
Okay.
But that was when I did the 5-day, was like really when I was like, I need to do something dramatic here. And I did lose, I can't remember now, it was last, but I think I lost like 10 to 12 pounds. And then I think about 5 of that came back within 2 weeks, maybe,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So I would say ultimately that felt successful to me, that weight had stayed off. But
Because half of it stayed off.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
But it wasn't worth it to me. I would have
Yeah.
do a 5
Okay.
day. By the time that 5-day ended, I was just angry and cranky.
Okay.
So, but I have done it too. I feel like I'm just going on and on, but
Well, you use this. This is a method you actually use. So yeah. What else?
yeah, I have used this. But also, like if I feel like I'm just like really fatigued and drained, and I can't figure out how to get my energy up, I would use normal things like trying to eat more nutrient dense food or getting outside and walking outside and move my body. But sometimes I just feel like I'm stuck in a feeling of lethargy.
Mhm.
Just like you were talking about the nutrient dense of juicing. I have a juicer too. I love her. She's just beautiful. And I almost can feel like by the beginning of the second day, I can feel the nutrients flooding into my body. Like I can feel it getting out to all of my extremities.
Mhm. Yeah.
More so than if I just juiced for a meal.
Right. Right.
So I don't know if there's science behind that either, but I literally could like feel it get to my toes. And
It is nutrient dense. Like I know,
yeah.
I mean, because that's closer to why I would do something liquid. Like I would probably, unless I was sort of feeling sick, like you said, like if I was having some kind of body issue where I felt kind of sick and under the weather and I thought clear liquids would help, I probably wouldn't just do bone broth or soups. Although I love bone broth and soups, so I could easily see incorporating them into a day along with other things. But usually when I do like a course of liquids, I really am just adding them into my day, and it may replace one meal. So, but there was a time in my life when I replaced 2 meals with vegetable juice because I have the juicer. So it's homemade vegetable juice, and the most extreme I've gone with it where it replaced 2 meals. And my reason for doing it was to boost vitamins and minerals. I wanted to make sure I was really strong. So it was definitely for my health. It was for my mental health and just general self-care. I wanted to do something extreme. It had nothing to do with my weight. I wanted to do something extreme that made me as strong as I could possibly be. And it worked. Like, I feel like it works. Like, there's something about getting that density of nutrition that I feel does put me in a stronger place. And so that's why I love it. I don't know if I would, I mean, juicing can be really hard on the intestines if you do too much of it, so, as mentioned. And so I don't know if I would do like all day long with nothing else. I would probably then want to add in a bone broth and a protein shake and add some other stuff in there to mitigate the effects of all. I would never do it as a cleanse because it's a pretty rough
Yeah.
road kind of cleanse to do all
Yeah.
green juice.
Yeah. That's interesting because I did my first one with the advice of my gastro person. We were just kind of talking about, I was just really having a hard time. This was probably, I don't know, probably about 9 years ago. This is when I was still in my marriage. My stress levels were super high and my gut was just a mess. And I talked to them and I said, I know this is going to sound like I'm crazy. Like, I literally thought I was going crazy. I said, but I feel like every time I start to, work on getting healthier, meaning I'm like eating healthier and I'm exercising more. I said, I feel like that's when my gut interacts or something like that. And he was a male doctor and he just like totally poo-pooed me. And so, as I was leaving, he had a female nurse practitioner that worked underneath him. And she said, hey, let's just chat for a minute. And so we talked to her about it. And she said, I'm wondering if when you think you're eating healthier, you're eating a lot of raw vegetables. And she goes, my guess is that might be the problem. Have you tried juicing?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, well, I haven't tried juicing. I didn't have a juicer then. But you can go to those juice bars and get it. And so I started getting it and I was like, oh, I think that was it. So it was, like she was the one that was saying like, they're so fiber dense.
Mm-hmm.
And that my body was struggling with that. I don't know
Yeah.
if anybody else has ever experienced that, but
No, I know a lot of people who say that. Absolutely. That is definitely a thing. So, it's such an individual choice. We, just to reiterate, we're not recommending that anybody do this or not do it. We're just talking about the mindset you go into it with and the likelihood of getting the results you want probably will depend on the mindset you go in with. So, I do feel like for getting nutrition into my body and strengthening myself, I feel like I get good results and I'm going in with kind of a positive, like it's a value add. And it sounds maybe like you, even though I would say if somebody's going on vacation, they go on vacation and they come back and they're like, I'm just gross. I so overdid it. I am so mad with myself. I'm so frustrated. I hate that I did all this indulgence. I need to just not eat for the whole week or 2 days or however long, and I'm just going to have liquids. Then I would say, I don't know, because maybe in the short term, because your body's literally not getting any food, and if you're not doing smoothie, I don't think the smoothie liquid diet's going to actually get weight loss because there are a lot of calories in smoothies.
Yeah.
But even if you drop, let's say 10 to 12 pounds, chances are the weight's going to come back on. Especially when you've had like a really negative, punitive mindset. It's more likely that not only will the weight come back, but possibly a few months out, even more comes back. But I think because Mimi, my best guess is because Mimi's really got more positive reasons for going into these things, even though she did have weight regain on that first one or that 5-day one. You had gone in with a mindset of something that was a little more, I mean, you said you just did it, Do you?
Yeah, I would say that probably one, and it's probably why it was so much harder because
Yeah.
I wanted such specific results
You did,
on
okay,
it related to my weight.
okay,
Like even when I come back from a diet, I mean, from a vacation, and I just want to reset my diet, I'm not necessarily thinking I need to lose weight on that 2 day reset. It's
yeah,
just like I just am transitioning back into my normal life.
yeah.
Because I typically eat a 2 day liquid diet. Like I don't think that's a weight loss. I don't know. I have never had any luck on a 2 day liquid diet, trying thinking that I'm going to lose weight from that. It'd be interestingly if you did the vegetables off one day, or when you just do it for the 2 meals, do you then feel the nutrients go into your body?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Even if I replace one meal, I feel like I'm more hydrated, my skin glows, my eyes look brighter. Like I can really tell a difference when even just one meal. I mean, maybe not if I just had like a random juice drink one day, but if I did it for a few days or kept that habit for a little while,
Oh,
it
yeah. I see what you're saying.
absolutely makes a difference.
Yeah, I think so. I think one juice a day is a beautiful thing. I need to get back into that.
It's
I like the
yummy.
weird design.
I got a bunch of, I mean, I had sort of, I think I went a little, one thing I found I have to be careful with on juices is adding too much beet, like a raw beet, because it's not been cooked. It's a raw beet. It has like a huge cleansing impact on me. And so I made a juice the other day with a lot of beet in it, and it was not a great idea. And so today my juice is going to be a very healing kind of juice. I'm gonna do, I have a citrus juice or two. I'm just going to do some oranges and then a lot of carrots because that's very healing to the gut. And then, I'm going to add a lot of water into it so it's not too thick.
Yeah.
So you can use it for different reasons, but the takeaway here, I mean, really just to wrap this up, the takeaway is that you can do or not do a liquid reset if that seems healthy for you to do. In all likelihood, you will be more successful with the intent behind the reset, i.e. what results you want to achieve as a result of doing it, when your mindset is less punitive and more supportive. And I think Mimi's example of her vacation is a really good example. She gets the result that she wants. She self-reports that she gets the result that she wants.
I know this is really going to make me think about it differently. And one of the things I hadn't done that you brought up is like tracking it, 1, 2, and 3 weeks out. So if I do another one, I don't have one planned yet this year. But I'll let you know. I'll have to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
have to
definitely a big
report.
believer, and in our program, we're kind of big believers in using some, like, can you repeat the results? Can you observe that how do you know that this works? How do you know that it's good? Like
Mhm.
using some observation skills so that you make sure you're doing something that's really good for you, that you can use without tweaking it too much, that it's a good solid plan that could be your forever plan. You're not going on a diet, short-term thing. You're just, this
Yeah.
is the way you're going to move forward with your life.
Yeah. I think the way you did it is really good too. I mean, I think it's 2 really different approaches. I don't know if you think of yours has a obviously not has a liquid diet, but as a reset, or is it
It's
just
not really
I
in
love
my head.
incorporating?
Yeah, in my head, it's, if anything, if it's a reset at all, I'm trying to reset my nutrition level. Like what nutrients, because sometimes I'll notice throughout like a few days or a few weeks, especially when I'm super busy, that I'll tend to eat the same thing every day. Like I have the same little group of things that I have every day. And when I really look at it and assess it, it's maybe not as well-rounded nutritionally. And so if it's a reset at all, it's to make sure I'm really strong, like I'm getting all the micronutrients and macronutrients I need.
Yeah.
So, and it for me, it definitely works. I mean, when I did do it replaced 2 meals, and I was eating very little, like solid. So it wasn't quite a liquid diet, but my
Yeah.
intention was to get really strong. It definitely worked.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do think it's the mindset and intention behind it that's so important. And in the show notes below, we have the link to our email. I'd love you to shoot us an email and um let's hear what you've tried. If you do like it, what's your thought behind doing one? And then if you followed the results for a couple of weeks, I'd love for you guys to share with us what
Yeah,
that is.
yeah. What happens long term? Can you
Yeah.
see any kind of trend after?
Yeah.
That would be really interesting to do. I think it would be really interesting for you to do, Mimi, but if I had to guesstimate like what
Yeah.
happens, I think the way you do it probably is very healthy. you
Yeah.
know?
Well, I have a trip to Ireland in September. So
Yeah.
maybe I'll do a 2-day
Yeah,
after that.
yeah, and then kind of
see.
track what happens after. If
Track
you
what
have
happens.
more desire to go to a restaurant, more
Yeah.
desire to have like a cocktail or
Yes.
whatever, to
Well, I
see.
definitely have more desire to indulge while I'm in Ireland. So I'm super excited.
Yeah, go for it. When I was in Ireland in May, I just had whatever. I mean, I ate so much butter
Yeah.
on the bread. So
Yeah.
two things I normally do not have a lot
Yeah.
of butter and bread. I ate so much butter and bread, but I was having fun and I just did it.
Yeah.
It was
Super.
totally fine. So to end each podcast, we'd like to pick a song from our Her Genius playlist on Spotify. And today's song is, Mimi picked this one, Closer to Fine by the Indigo Girls.
Yeah, that song is just having a moment and it's fabulous and I love it and enjoy it. And the link to our Spotify playlist is below as well.
And I think Barbie is the reason for the moment because it definitely played a role. That song played a role in the Barbie movie. So
yeah. Oh, I would love to hear their thoughts about being in that movie.
I know.
Smashing. I love it. You guys have a great day.